Angry Guy here, and today we're discussing why men are abandoning society and living better lives. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, please help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Now let's begin. Men are abandoning society to and living better lives. I mean, this is very interesting. I've been showing you some of the comments from some of these videos, but it's really significant. So here's a video I posted. Men are celebrating lives without women. And we can look at a lot of the comments. I read this comment recently from a guy who makes $55,000 as a data analyst. He sleeps in a sleeping bag in his one-bedroom home, 29 years old, debt-free. But it's not just him. There's so many guys who are now living these lives of basically where they're just relaxing, living very debt-free with no stress. Here's another comment. My family left me a house with additional building where gym is. My dad was gym junkie in his 20s and built it. Nothing crazy fancy, but for one amazing place. Sometimes I work out with few friends and a second floor flat built in brick garage that has actual property value. Some land out of city that's good worth, nothing of value built there though. I also have a car. Being single with all of that is literally a superpower. I could retire at 30. So this guy is evidently not even 30 years old. He's 30 or not even 30 yet. And this is ridiculous. Okay, so at oldest, this guy is 30 years old, and this is everything he has. And if he were to get into a relationship with a woman, she would take all of it away. It would all evaporate. But guys, look at this. Everything he has is only going to go up in value. It's only like literally, this is how men are living lives, are living without working. Because a lot of these guys, once you get to a certain point, you have your savings, you have investments, and you have property. You can use that property to generate income. There's so many different options that you have. And as men, we don't need a lot to survive. A one-bedroom apartment for a lot of guys is luxury. Like I said, this one guy that was making $55,000 a year, dude is sleeping on the floor, and he refuses to stop sleeping on the floor. He refuses to stop doing it. Okay? Won't stop sleeping on the floor. He loves it. Absolutely. Look at what he said. And I love it angry. Okay? I sleep in my sleeping bag in my one-bedroom home. These men will not stop sleeping on the floor. There are men listening to this video right now, and they are living in the woods, and they won't stop living in the woods. And while there's some guys who are living in the woods because they lost everything in divorce, there's a lot of guys who are living in the woods because they like living. Oh God, because they like living in the woods. Guys, I have mountain men listening to my videos, y'all. I got these mountain men. I got these mountain men listening to my videos. This is crazy stuff. Mountain man. Mountain man is listening to my videos. Chilling in the woods. Guys, there are bears and wolves in those woods. Mountain man is chilling in the woods, happily enjoying himself. Guys, these men have money in the bank, and they're out in the woods enjoying their peace and their solitude. Women really messed up. They really messed up historically. Only around 30 to 40% of men actually reproduce, not married. Only around 30 to 40% of men actually reproduced, while 80% or over 80% of women reproduced. That's how it was historically. And what people don't comprehend is they're thinking, oh, well, it's because, it's that much harder for men to reproduce. It is harder, but if you think about it, historically, men were the ones with the value, and a woman needed a man to survive. What this really, and a lot of the men who married in the past, they were poor. They could provide a roof for a woman, some food, and And that was basically it. Clothing, food, basically the basic necessities. And they weren't living large and in charge. If a woman didn't have a man back in those days, it was gonna, she was gonna have to go and be a lady of the night. And these women, they didn't make a lot of money in those places. They had contracts. They had contracts in those places, and they were basically owned by the places that they worked for. It's it's crazy. It really is. And you think about this, you have to realize that a lot of men historically did not want to be bothered. Like, men walking away from society has been happening for a long time. Men walking away has been happening historically forever. Men have been walking away from relationships forever, choosing not to have relationships, not to have children, not to have a woman in their life. And they basically enjoy themselves. They spend all of their money on themselves. They have all their resources to themselves. They hang out with their buddies. They drink. They have fun. And these guys live to be very old. And this is how it's always been. It's only in recent times, since the Industrial Revolution, where we've been all ushered into this notion of getting married and have one man having one woman and all of this nonsense. And in Hollywood, it's all a ploy. None of this was normal beforehand. It was absolutely abnormal. It was not normal for this to exist. And now it's the smoke screen is falling, and women don't, they don't want men to know that they can be happy. Okay, because we've been lied to, telling us that, oh, we need a woman to be happy. You don't learn that you don't need a woman to be happy until you've had your life destroyed. Until after you've dealt with a lot of women, you're like, yeah, I'm happy by myself. I'm very, very happy by myself. Let's look at this. Let's read some more of these comments. I make $38,000 a year at a factory and I'm chilling. Only women in my house are my two dogs. Okay, let's check this one out. When I moved back to Texas from Florida, I had a 32-inch flat screen TV and an air mattress to sleep on. I was 50 at the time and I didn't care. I was happy. Guys, men don't need a lot. Let's check this one out. My 2005 house in Savannah is $1,063 a month. Guys, okay, so that's a little over $12,000 a year. And he's living really, really well. A woman, you could round it out to about almost 13,000 a year. So for around 13,000 a year, and let's see, a woman would have fed her. Okay, a woman you have feed her, then she want a car. Women want give money to their family, but know your family. So yeah, he said this guy is spending around $13,000 a year to cover the cost of his living. He has an entire house. He has a house that was evidently built in 2005, and he's living very, very, very well by himself. And I guarantee you, he has every single thing he wants in that house. Zillow, Jason says, Zillow, West Virginia. They have big old houses for under $100,000. Mortgages like $300 to $500. Taxes $1,000 a year. Guys, this is in West Virginia. You can buy a big old house for $100,000 a month, and you have a mortgage for $300 to $500 a month. Guys, we can live wonderful lives, and we are starving the economy because we're making less money but saving more money, because we're not going out there and trying to earn $100,000 a year. For a lot of these women, some of us do, but we don't have to. A guy making $50,000 a year, $40,000 a year, it's enough. Think about this. What are these guys? He said he was making, how much was he making? Was it $38,000 a year? After taxes come out of that, he has at least around 30,000. At least. Think about this carefully. After all is said and done, if you have a mortgage of only $500 a month, right? $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. That still leaves you with $24,000. And Then there's the cost of food. You're going to pay. These men are going to cook their own food, so a lot of guys can get their food bill down to $500 a month. 500, no more than 1,000. I mean, so let's say your food bill is let's say you're spending $6,000 a year on food, because you're living well. You're preparing all of your meals, so $6,000 a year on food, and so now you're down to $18,000. And think about this very carefully. You've bought you've bought every video game system that's currently out. You've bought a gaming PC. You've bought a brand new laptop. You've bought all of that. So all of that's paid for, right? Those are one-time purchases. So forget about that. So you have $18,000. Your house is full. Your home is fully furnished. You have everything you need in there. What, $1,000, $2,000? Your home is fully furnished. You have a house to yourself. I mean, your own house at that. I mean, guys, what else is there? And you still have $18,000. I mean, what's going to happen to that extra money? Well, some of it's probably going to go into crypto, and maybe and I mean, guys, there's not much else. A lot of you guys are using like Metro PCS or Mint Mobile, and spending like literally like what, $200 a year, $300 a year total for cell phone. So you pay that off like in one go, and there's nothing else. You have home internet. Your internet doesn't cost really anything. Even if you were to get, let's say, Starlink from Elon Musk, and let's say you're paying $1,500 a year to access that, again, what is that? That's nothing for you, So you have, I mean, that's like worst case scenario. I mean, you're just left with bulks of money still. You have everything you want, it's hard. It's hard, guys. It's really, really hard. You have to, like, you're literally trying to find places to like, put away money, but like, what are you going to do? Like, to spend things to spend money on, because your food costs are covered, your living costs are covered, your expenses are everything is essentially covered. You have healthcare, you have everything you need. If you're likely getting healthcare through your job, or if you're not getting it through your job, you have a cheap health insurance plan, usually no more than $100 a month or whatever. Or you're going to qualify for Medicaid. A lot of you will qualify for Medicaid, so you'll get it through the government. Some of you will qualify for food stamps, and if you really want to be naughty, like, and this is what a lot of dudes do. If you really want to be a naughty boy, a lot of people do this. They go down to the food pantries. They go to the food pantries, and you can get some good things. There's a bunch of different food pantries. They'll go to the food pantries, and they will get their food at the food pantries, and they just won't spend any money on groceries. Like, this is how a lot of people live, literally, essentially living for free. Like, they will not spend anything at those on that. And if you have, like, in a case where you might have, like, say, a house, like a 2-family house, or let's say you buy a house that has a basement in it, what some people will do is they will, like, if your mortgage is $500 a month, right? A lot of dudes will just fix the basement up, right? Fix the basement up, make it livable, rent the basement out for $500 or $600, maybe $700 a month, and you'll find someone who will pay that, because it's not bad. And not only will you have someone paying your mortgage, you'll also be pulling in extra money. So, for example, you fix the basement, you rent the basement for $700 a month, right? And your mortgage is only $500. You're going to end up with excess capital at the end of that. It's $8,400. 700 by 12 months, that's $8,400. But keep in mind that if your mortgage is $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. So when you do the difference, when you look at the difference, you're actually making a $2,400 a year profit. $2,400 a year profit. So what do you do with that money? Well, again, that's going to cover additional expenses, and you have everything you want. Your house is furnished. You have all your video games. You can buy however many video games as you want. Right now, after purchasing a Steam Deck, the games are so much cheaper on Steam that it's like, and they have like these regular deals and discounts. Like I can spend $1,000 a year and basically get the same value that I'd spend, spending $5,000 or more on PlayStation or another console. So it's crazy. So once you start optimizing your living, you have everything you want, and then you can try. And then once you learn how to do the Passport King thing, you have your home in the U.S. and you can go overseas to another country and live a high quality life. Like just travel, like go back to the US whenever you feel like it, go overseas, have a house, have a home in another country where you're renting it out, spending maybe $1,400, fully furnished. You have a setup there as well, so you don't even have to worry. Like I said, there's going to be a normal thing for a lot of dudes to just at any given moment, just with the clothes on their back and they have their passport in hand, they just go straight to the airport. Maybe they'll pick up their laptop, maybe they won't because they have a full setup in another country, and they'll just go straight to they'll just book a flight. Cheap flight pops up. Maybe they're out having having a meal, driving around in their pickup or whatever, and they're always keeping track of like cheap flights, and you get a notification from the airlines like, oh, we have an offer for you. It's $200 to fly over to Costa Rica or to fly to Dominican Republic right now. And you're like, okay, yeah, I'll take that. And you grab your passport and you don't pack any clothes. You literally have just the clothing on your back, literally just the clothing on your back and your passport. Maybe you grab your laptop, maybe you don't, because everything is synced between your devices, and you just fly over to this, and you just fly over to this other country. You grab your backpack, put your laptop in it, and just like some little things, food or whatever, and you take off and you fly to this other country, and you have a home in the other country, and everything is there in the country, and you just in your house, and you just go over there and chill in your house. And the women in the area, there's clubs and everything. You've learned the language, and you just start chilling, and you can do this. And some of y'all will get greedy. You'll have a place in Mexico, you'll have a place in Dominican Republic, you have a place in Colombia, and the reason why you're able to do it is because you've learned how to live affordably. So for example, in some cases, many of you may find a place where you can spend, you may be able to rent a small studio for $50 or $70 a month, and your rent for that place is like $1,000 for the entire year, $1,200 for the entire year, and you have like you have like a home in 3 different countries, and all of these homes are like fully furnished, and maybe you're doing like an Airbnb thing, so like you rent out, so like you rent them out like whenever you're not there, so you're making profit from that as well. And whenever you feel like it, you just travel, go overseas and chill. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You know, Guys, if you're enjoying this content, help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Men are abandoning society and living better lives. What do you guys think about everything we discussed here today? I want to hear your thoughts, so let's talk about them in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.